Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know, I am Allie, and today's video is going to be my thoughts on The Vow Season 2, Episode 4. So I'm going to be honest here. When The Vow Season 1 and Season 2 began, I had a lot of anger towards Lauren. And the reason why I'm starting this episode talking about Lauren is because this episode was basically about Lauren and her testimony. And I had spent a really long time just being like, I don't understand Lauren. I don't get it. Like, I get it to some extent, but I'm like, how do you, like, convince yourself that this is okay? And, like, I know she's being manipulated and I know she's a victim, but I'm also like, I don't understand why you would put yourself in a situation to hurt your best. Like, I just didn't understand. And I had a lot of anger towards her. And I think that, honestly, like, anger is a secondary emotion. So I really feel like I felt like she had betrayed somebody that was so there for her and was such a wonderful friend to her. And I didn't understand how she could justify it or turn the other way or just pretend the situation wasn't going on, or like, I just didn't understand it. I knew she was a victim and I saw her as a victim, but I also saw her as somebody who hurt somebody. And I just didn't understand how she could be so okay with the situation. But now, after watching that episode, yes, Lauren did horrible things, but she was in love with Keith Raniere. That is who she wanted to be with. And after watching this episode, honestly, like, I'm with Sarah. Like, when Sarah was holding her video, like, holding her baby and, like, videoing Mark, like, I was crying with her. Like, the whole thing that Keith did to Lauren is, like, so not cool in any capacity. And although Lauren did horrible things, I guess I now see her more as a victim and less of an evil person. Because although she did horrible things, which I'm not excusing her behavior, she was also a victim of the man she loved. And it doesn't make it right, it doesn't make it okay, but she was willing to do anything to prove to him that she loved him and wanted to be with him. And he orchestrated that. He truly, truly orchestrated that behavior in her. And I have a different outlook on Lauren. And I truly hope that Lauren gets the one thing that she wanted. And I know some people will say she doesn't deserve to get what she wanted, but I really, really hope she gets what she wanted in this life. And so much. And truly, truly watching this episode just tugged at my heartstrings. And I know Lauren did a lot of things that were not okay. And I know Lauren, in the end, flipped on Keith. And I believe that, like, that is something that, yes, her mother influenced her to do, but I also think that that was kind of her wrecking ball moment. I really believe that. I truly believe for Lauren, this was her wrecking ball moment of, I did horrible things for the man that I love, and I hurt people, and I'm acknowledging what I did. Before I continue with Lauren, I need to address Nikki, because you pissed me off in this episode. There was one moment in this episode where I wanted to take Nikki Klein and, like, throw the phone. You justifying a branding of Keith Raniere's initials on a female's body in any capacity as her choice makes me want to strangle you through the phone. How could you even think that thought in your head? You all were manipulated to do this. And you were manipulated, and India was manipulated by one of the most wealthy child stars on this planet. And I'm still trying to understand Allison Mack's whole philosophy. Like, I really hope they talk about her in this season, because I need to do a whole video on just her alone, because of the fact that the research that I'm doing on child stars and like the stuff that I've been watching on child stars really makes me think about how Allison could have ended up in this situation. That's all I'm going to say for now until there's an Allison Mack video. But Nikki, shut up, sit down. You're not helpful. And the other chick, I forget your name, that's out there defending Keith with her, saying you're not going to say if you have a brand or not. By not saying you don't have a brand, you're basically saying you have a brand because of the fact that you willingly put it on your body. Okay, whatever. Go away. You guys infuriate me because all the evidence is there that you were being manipulated. Your slave master, like, even apologized in open court and said what she did. We're going to get to her. We're going to get to Allison. But let me get back to Lauren before I get on a separate tangent. So I had this whole moment of being really, really angry with her. Like, this episode for me was, I felt very healing, especially for Lauren and Sarah's friendship. I got that vibe just because of the way Sarah handled it. And I also felt like it was really good for Nippy. Nippy, you know I love you. So I'm just going to preface that with that. I felt your anger towards Lauren a lot. And I 100% agree it was justified. But I think for you in this episode, you really learned what was hanging over Lauren's head. This is really, really hard for me because I don't like when people use children in any capacity as a pawn. And Keith dangled a baby in front of her so much because that was the one thing Lauren wanted. And I have a hard time with children in any capacity, unborn or born, being used as a pawn in any situation, because I feel children don't deserve that. And I don't understand how people can do that. And my heart breaks for Lauren because I feel that Keith knew she wanted a baby so much that he used that to get whatever he wanted from her, good or bad, illegal or not. He used her love for him, and the fact that she wanted a baby as a means to get him to do things. Like, to the point where when the one article Nippy's reading says that when DOS came about, he started talking about having a baby with Lauren. Like, are you freaking kidding me? That's how I know that, like, he just is just horrible. And, like, Lauren did horrible things, but she did not deserve that. Like, I don't believe she deserved that. And that was the same moment that Sarah, like, broke down and cried, because honestly, she's right. Lauren did horrible things. Lauren did things that were not okay. Lauren hurt people, and that's not okay at all. And I totally see where Sarah's coming from, where she still cares about her. She was her bridesmaid and her best friend, and I don't think there's a correct way to feel about her for Sarah. I don't believe that there's a correct way to feel. I believe hurt people, and that is exactly what was going on in Lauren's case. I don't fully believe, and I know everyone's going to come for me, but I don't fully believe that Lauren, especially just by the way her sister talks about her in this docuseries and the way even Nancy talks about her, I don't fully believe Lauren would intentionally set out to hurt anyone in any capacity. I believe that she was manipulated and used and controlled by the man that she loved, and she wanted a baby so bad, and she was trying to prove to herself and to him that she was somebody worth having a baby for, and she wanted that love from Keith. And I don't believe that Keith ever really truly loved her back. And I'm not even going to try and diagnose him as a narcissist. or anything like that. I just don't believe that he loved her back, and I believe that Keith more so just wanted women that he could sleep with, in my opinion. This is not me trying to diagnose. I know that there are people that diagnose him, and I know that there's a psychologist, and I know all these things. I fully do. I don't want to ever say that I don't know that. But again, I don't want to get into like the psychological aspects of it, because I don't believe in putting labels on people even if they're justified. So that's kind of like my take on Lauren. So this episode was really about Lauren, and her testimony was really, really hard to sit through, to be honest with you. I went in there with anger and preconceived notion of Lauren. But as she was talking, as she was talking, I realized that maybe my anger isn't fully justified with her. I just have a newfound outlook on her situation, and maybe that is also because of the letter she wrote to Sarah that she read in her podcast. I truly believe that Lauren is sorry for her actions and what she did, and it's not too late for her to have a baby. It's not too late for her to be a mom. A mom is the single most important job on the planet, and it's not for the faint of heart. My only advice would be pick well and better, and maybe in a weird way, it was a blessing in disguise that Keith didn't give you a baby. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise. He took your childbearing years, as your mother said at the end, but maybe this is the path you need to walk to get to a better version of you. And at first I will admit I was angry with you, especially because of everything you put Sarah through. But now, after listening to your testimony, I feel you were manipulated, number one. Number two, you were backed into a corner by the man you love and made decisions for yourself and for your relationship. And the only thing that I will say is I do have one question for the top slave. Because at the end, towards the end, I'm a little confused. Like in the middle or the end, I'm a little confused about something with Keith's arrest. So maybe you can respond, or somebody can give me the answer. But it's a little weird to me that there was a recommitment ceremony in Mexico, and then Keith is arrested not too long in Mexico. I don't necessarily believe it was a recommitment ceremony. I for some reason get the vibe that you all knew Keith was going to get arrested, minus maybe Lauren and the other slaves, and you decided to, take him to Mexico, the least likely place they would find him, brains, and have him arrested. Like, sorry. Like, I don't know if that was your plan, but you failed. But that seemed just too coincidental to me to be a coincidence. Yeah. So these are my thoughts from season 2, episode 4. Next week's episode, I'm not gonna lie, is gonna be a little hard for me to watch from the preview. So just bear with me. This was basically me just saying that I have a newfound outlook on Lauren, and I don't know if she necessarily deserves as much anger as she's receiving, because she was also a victim, but it doesn't excuse her actions. So in my opinion, she apologized to Sarah. She testified against Keith. I feel like she's making amends, and she's moving towards forgiving, maybe even forgiving herself. So I would love to see her do some good with that. Now that she has the platform that she has and she's done what she's did, I would love to see her do some good with it. I would also love, just putting this out there in the universe, I know Nippy feels he doesn't want to have a conversation with her, but I would love a podcast with Lauren, and like Lauren and Nippy and Sarah all sit down. I feel it would be truly healing for all three of them. So this is my thoughts. Remember, these are my opinions. You can have your opinions. You don't have to necessarily agree with me. Just keep that in mind. I'm open to comments. I'm open to discussion about Nippy and Sarah, especially because I feel like people are like, oh God, she's obsessed with Nippy and Sarah. No, there are things Nippy does that I don't understand, and there's things Sarah does that I don't understand. There are things that Mark do that I don't understand. So I just want to like leave that like abundantly clear. Like, you guys can make comments. The only thing I will say is that if anyone gets hateful in any capacity, I will shut it down. I don't do hatefulness on this channel at all. So that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up if you do. If you're not subscribed, please go and subscribe. I really have a great day. And please hit the bell so you'll be notified of every time I upload.